standing here in China right now, and I'm thinking about all the things that we take for granted. I look at this clock tower above me, and we take for granted that we can know the time of day relatively easy. We take for granted that there is relative peace and security, even in a foreign country, that we can travel with ease, that we can pretty much go out and make as much money as we want, as long as, we are working hard and doing those type of things, investing. Most people don't have to go out and farm for their food, don't have to fish for their food. We have running water, we have running toilets. We don't have to have expertise to know how to pretty much make anything. We don't have to hunt for our food. We don't have to even know how to do agriculture. Like most modern people thrown into the world 100, 200, 300, 1,000 years ago wouldn't even be able to survive. That's crazy. And so what do we do with that? Me, upper middle class white guy from America, it's like, as I'm driving through these streets of these country streets of China, seeing these 80-year-old women and men, but thinking particularly of this 80-year-old woman who's raking up dried plant matter so they can throw it on a smoldering fire to keep the bugs away from the crops. So there's like a whole community that's not even community, like a whole city that's just smoky with fire, because that's their form of pesticide, is just having smoke throughout the city so that bugs and birds don't want to be there. That's crazy. And so, you can't even imagine just living in that for 10 years, the kind of pulmonary destruction that would be caused by living in a city that's constantly on fire, effectively. And then, so sitting here, and we have police that keep society in check. We have cars that drive themselves and can take us pretty much around. So what do we do with that? What are we going to do as society continues to grow, society continues to flourish, society continues to exponentiate, that all of our natural needs are met? We have to the point where people are choosing to be homeless because they can have food in abundance, healthcare in abundance. And it really does lead to one of two places. It's either going to lead to slothfulness, which you see in the streets of modern day America. You don't see it in modern day China or Japan, which is crazy. Going from even just Hawaii to Japan, it's fentanyl, heroin, meth addicts in Hawaii sitting on the side of the streets downtown. Go to Japan, don't see one. Go to China, don't see one. That's interesting. I was talking to someone, and he said that if you even had a tenth of a pound of cocaine, that you are shot in China. Interesting way of dealing with the problem. One could argue that that's the most humane way of dealing with the problem. Why would you argue that? Well, obviously killing people isn't humane, but if people think that that's the alternative and they don't ruin their lives with drugs, then that's a lot more humane. How do you solve that problem now that we already have it? That's a different thing, because people didn't grow up with the reality that they could be shot if they do heroin or meth or fentanyl. And so how do you solve that? I don't know. It's not what we're currently doing. I don't know that much. I do feel like there's some sort of solution that's not quite jail, but not quite freedom. It's like a housing community, a rehabilitation community that you can't leave, but until you're clean and You can choose to live there as long as you want, but you are forced to live there if you're caught doing these terrible behaviors that are destructive to yourself and to society as a whole. So there's a solution there. I'm going to create it. I need like $20 million, maybe 50 million for a full city-sized one. But to start off, we're going to start off small. Small is relative, but we're going to start off with 20 people, learn the ins and outs, what works best, and then we're going to grow it to 1,000 people. And hopefully at 1,000 people, that is enough of a flow that we can stop the hemorrhaging, at least in my own community, but then grow it around the United States, because obviously governments aren't doing shit. Obviously governments don't care. I mean, it's like the solution isn't just rounding people up and throwing them into jail. Like there's better solutions. It's rounding them up and throwing them into communities where they can have hope and have love and have guidance and have structure. And I think that there was a study, from what I remember, the study was done on rats or mice, but there was a study done and they gave the animal a choice between drugs or not drugs, and when the animal was alone, it chose the drug water. But when the animal had community and fun things to do, and it could sit on the hamster wheel, as it were, and they could do things, then it chose to do the activities. It chose to have social connections. It chose to have abundance in that way. And so there's a lot we need to figure out, a lot we need to do, but those are the thoughts that I have in this moment. We'll continue with more thoughts later. Just remember, you won't love it unless you live it.